Hey everyone, welcome to part 2 of Mailing 101, a crash course on how to do a bulk mailing. My name's Liz Frayer. I'm here with my colleague Peter Hanfield, who I like to call the master of mailing. He's going to show you today how to pre-sort your mail so you can maximize your postage rates and also, your postage discounts, and also show you how to select killer mailing lists for higher response rates when you are doing a bulk mailing. So we just have a couple of housekeeping items before we start. First, if you have any questions, feel free to type them in the chat box at any time, and we'll try to get to all of them before the end of our time together here. Also, as a reminder, I'm going to send out the recording tomorrow, so look for that in your email box in case you miss anything. Secondly, if you didn't know, this Mailing 101 is part of a series, so if you missed part 1, feel free to go to the link that you guys see on your screen and you can download the on-demand version of that Mailing 101 webinar. So we talked about advantages and disadvantages of bulk mailing, walked you guys through how to get your mailing permit and your mailing ID. We also talked about the types of mailing software that we have, things like that. So go and check it out. You'll also find on our website other on-demand mailing webinars that you can sign up for. And also we have a current mailing registration going on right now, so you can sign up to join our Mailers Plus 4 demo webinar. So you can do that all at the website that I said you can see on your screen right there. And then last but not least, as I mentioned, this is a part of a series, so we are really interested in hearing what you guys want to learn about for part 3. So at any time, if you have any suggestions for topics for part 3, go ahead and type those in the chat box. And then last but not least, we do have an offer for you guys, so hopefully you guys will see that. Peter's going to go over it in a little bit, but there's a special offer for you for 20,000 free records, so go ahead and check that out as well. All right, I think that's all the housekeeping items that I have. So without further ado, here's Peter.
Thanks, Liz. Hi, this is Peter Hanfield with Melissa. Today we're going to be going over a few things that Liz mentioned earlier about a mailing list and choosing the correct mailing list and how to get the most out of it. The main thing to remember is you need to figure out who your target audience is. If you're trying to do it to your existing customers, or you want to get like an occupant list of pretty much, you want to saturate the area, a city, a zip code, or a section of the map. A lot of restaurants and chains and stuff, they'll do that. They'll, rather than try to get a model data list, they'll use an occupant list where they could just hit every single potential customer in a given area. Then we also have a model data list that we'll go over, which is a list generated for targeting mail, such as, let's say you just want to mail to households of $50,000 or more, or you want a certain different, you just want to deal with all houses or all businesses and stuff like that. That's what the model data list is. So I'll go ahead and go through those. Why mail to your existing customers? Keeping in touch with your customers is very important. Some of the advantages are you engage your customers who stop using your services. You also could use it to promote new services, and it's more cost effective than purchasing a list. But some of the disadvantages, you're not reaching out to new prospects, and every business is always trying to grow, so you always want to get new prospects too. Another disadvantage is sometimes, depending on how you keep track of your customers and stuff, it might be difficult for you to compile a list. So next we have our occupant list. Getting a new business is probably the most important way of growing your business, and an occupant list will help you do that. Some of the advantages are you get the cheapest postal rates if you're mailing to everybody. You'll get what is called the walk sequence saturation rate, which I believe is less than like 20 cents per piece to actually mail out. You could cover an entire region. Like I said earlier, you could cover a city, a zip, just certain carrier routes if you want to. And you also don't need to have to specify the person that you're mailing to. You could just address it as current resident. Some of the disadvantages of it is it's a little lower response rate than targeted mail, and you do have to purchase the list. But I think the advantages outweigh the disadvantages here if you're looking to get new clients, especially for restaurants or any small business that's trying to grow. Now we have our model data list. The model data list is perfect if you know who you're trying to target. Some of the advantages of it are the less pieces to mail than an occupant list. It'll reach the people most likely to do business with you. And you tend to get a higher response rate when you personalize it and you send it to the clients that you're pretty much your target. The disadvantages are that, of course, you have to purchase a list, and the price per piece is usually a little higher just because you're not mailing to a certain carrier route. You're not saturating the area, and the higher density the mail is, the lower the price they charge you for it. I'll go ahead and show you right now on our website how to get each of those lists, the occupant list and also the saturation list, and how to choose the different options. So for the occupant list, if you go to our website, which is melissa.com, you go to products, and then you choose mailing list. The first one we're going to do is saturation and occupant, so we'll go ahead and click on that. And we'll build our saturation occupant list. So we'll click on here. Okay, we'll do a fairly small, we'll do by zip code, I think. And where is it? Let's see, don't want to do that. I'll go ahead and do it by city, I think, because it'll probably be a little easier. I can pick a smaller city, so it won't take as long. I'll actually choose Rancho Santa Margarita. And I'll select the options. And here it tells me what city I did, and then I could also, that was one I did earlier when I was testing it. And here's I could choose just if I want to do residuals, if I want to do apartments, and our business addresses, our PO boxes. I'm going to go ahead and skip the PO boxes. And there's really no rural routes in Rancho Santa Margarita. And I want to go ahead and include names where available. So I'll go ahead and click on Add Count. And it just takes a little bit. And I want to turn up. So we'll go ahead and let's see. While we're waiting for that, I'll go ahead and go through the other list. Under products, go to sales leads. And we'll go ahead and do our consumer list. And I'll go ahead and build my consumer list now. This one also has the same options that you can do by zip code. And I'll go ahead and let's just do 92592. Add to count. And here's where some of the different selects that you could do. You could have it append phone numbers where we have it, the household income. Then pretty much all of these different options are available in here. And then we could do, since we're doing the household income, say we want to, if we don't want to append it, we could do that. And we could actually just say we want to do everybody that makes over $250,000 a year. But just so we have a decent count, I'll go ahead and choose all of them. You could also choose whether the home is a renter or a homeowner. For this one, I'll go ahead and just do homeowners. Marital status, I'm not going to worry about which one it is. Length of residence, sometimes you just want to get people that are recently moved. So I'll go ahead and just do that. I'll go 2 years and less than 1 year. And let's see. Household age, I don't think I'm going to change that one. Number of pieces or number of people in the household, I don't think so. Same with the number of adults. And you could also find out the household credit card info too. If they have an oil, gas card, miscellaneous credit card, specialty ones. That way, if you are like selling some kind of credit card or something like that, you could if they already have some. And you could also tell what kind of dwelling it is and stuff like that. So we'll go ahead and update the counts. And right here, it tells us how many records. So the next step would be to actually buy it. So we'll go to next. And this is how much for the different selects we did. It would be $261.49. And we would be able to choose what kind of file type we want, depending on the program you're using for pre-sorting and stuff. If you're using our Mailers Plus 4, the standalone version, then you would choose DBase. But if you're going to use our online solution, then I would choose either Comma Delimited or Excel. And you could also choose to zip it up. That way it's a little smaller for downloading. And then we can just click on the next. And then you just give it a name and oops, there. And now it's in my shopping cart and I could actually order it if I wanted to. And let's see if it's done with their account on the occupant list. Yep, there it is. It just takes a little bit longer because it has a lot more records and stuff in there. So it would be the same steps. Once you have it down here, and you could also add, if you have other cities and stuff, you could keep adding them in here. And then just click on next. And this tells you some important information about occupant list. And also the type of file that you'd like and whether you would like this as a zip file. And then you click on next. And it's the same thing, but see how cheap this is with rather than the occupant list or the consumer list. Well, that's why occupant list is usually my favorite one to mail to. It's a little cheaper to get the list than actually selecting targeting the actual individual people. Go ahead and give this a name. And this shows both lists on there that I had, so I could purchase it if I wanted to. But since this is a demo, I'm not going to actually purchase it. Okay. Now let's go ahead and do our live demo for Mailers Online. I'll go ahead and close the shopping cart. Don't need to be in there. And we can just go to Products, Mailing Solutions, and Mailers Online. And I'll go ahead and choose the first one. This was a saturation list that I downloaded earlier. So I'll go ahead and open this one. I'll go ahead and run through a saturation list, and I'll also run through a list that actually is not a saturation list. That way we can see the difference a little bit. This one has a header row. And for saturation lists, it's already been through NCOA. So we're going to go ahead and click Next. And then we're going to choose I'm going to go ahead and choose a template that I already have, but for the that way all the information's already in there, so I don't have to type it for the demo. But what you're gonna want to do, it'll automatically format any list that you purchase from us correctly. Since it's not running through NCOA, the only things that it needs is RBDI, postal code, oops, sorry, +4, walk sequence, and carrier route, and the delivery point code. I'll go ahead and make sure all of those are formatted correctly, and then we'll click on next. And here's where we would choose our post office of mailing. The marketing class, or the mailing class, we're going to do marketing mail because saturation is the best rate to get for that one. We'll go ahead and enter in our thickness and stuff is already in there for us. It's going to be a letter piece. These are the dimensions that we're going to be using. And we'll go ahead and do the mailing date as today. Here's all the information that goes in there for your permit, and also for on the mail.dat files. Click on next. And this is just going through adding the information for mail.dat files. With the move method for this is actually going to be none, because the saturation list is actually a little above NCOA, so there is no move update method. And you can leave the cast date the same. And click on next. And we'll go ahead and leave all of these selected. And we'll use permit imprint, and we'll draw a border on our SAC. If you're not sure on any of these, what each one of these is, you could always click on the little question mark, and it has a little brief description of what each sort is, and also like the what each postage type is. I'll go ahead and click on next. And then we would just give it a job name. And then hit start pre-sort. I already ran this job earlier, so that way we didn't have to wait for it to process. It doesn't take too long, but I figured I wanted to make you guys sit there and wait for it to do that. So I'll go ahead and go to the process list now, the dashboard. And this is it right here, the saturation list. And here's how much here's how much each piece was. So it was a little off. It's actually a little cheaper than I thought. So the saturation, 21,000 of the pieces qualified for that, and that's only 18.6 cents a piece. So in order to do this mailing, it cost us about $4,300. And normally, if you just did this mailing with stamps and stuff, it would probably be about $11,000. So we'll go ahead and purchase the list. Actually, oops. Apparently I still had those on there. There we go. And I can download the file now. And once the file is downloaded, you can see here's all the reports that you will need, and some instructions on how to print labels with it, and the qualification report and the postage reports that you'll need to take to the post office. And also the mail.dat files that you'll need to submit to Postal 1. Okay, now I'll go ahead and show you the other list that I have. And once again, you just go to Mailing Solutions, Mailers Online, And since I didn't finish that job, it still had that file in there. I'll go ahead and choose this one right here, which I know, which is a customer list. It has a header. And for this one, we want to make sure that we do NCOA change of addressing. And for that, we need to make sure that we have the first name, last name, address, city, state, and postal code all all formatted. Also, if you have a +4 field, you can have that in there too. And we'll go ahead and the other information, it doesn't really need in there for, it keeps it in there, but we don't actually look at it. And I'll actually go ahead and choose the template again that I used earlier today. Okay, once again, you would enter in all your information. This is all your permit information for the postage statement and your mail.dat info. And this one, since it is going through NCOA, you want to make sure it's on NCOA. One thing on this one is we don't want to do enhanced carrier route because it is more expensive than automation for letters unless you are doing saturation. So we'll go ahead and uncheck this one. And we'll go next. And we will run this for duplicates also. One thing that is nice with the mailers online is both the NCOA and the duplicate check are included in the price for it. And we would just give this a job. We would just give this a name and then start the pre-sort again. But like earlier, I've ran this list already through, so I could just pull it up. And here it is right here. And you can see that most of the pieces qualified for ADC. Some were mixed ADC automation. And there was 14 pieces that were residual, which are pretty much bad records that I'd probably want to take out of my list and not mail to. And for this one, since it's less than the 20,000, right now we're offering any file less than 20,000 records is free to process. So if you just want to upload your file and try it and see how it works and stuff like that, you can without having to pay anything. So we could download it right here, and it'll have the same information as the other one, except for it'll also have the processing summary and the cast summary in there. Okay, I won't wait for the report to come up. Is there any questions at this time? Okay, I got a question right here that someone asked. They wanted to know about what other kind of list besides the consumer one and stuff like that. If there's any kind of non-mailing list that we also offer. Yeah, we do offer a non-mailing list too. If you just on our website, let me go to it real quick. As you can see, we have all kinds of different ones on here. There's all kinds of specialty lists on here. We have new movers, new homeowners, parents, registered voters. There's all kinds of different ones. Oh, and I almost forgot that we do offer for your first order on any list on for our company. If you type in this coupon code, you'll get 15% off your first order. Okay, looks like I got another question. This was someone asked if they don't have their permit information yet and stuff like that, if they just want to check the prices, if they're able to do that. We did actually set up a way to do that within Mailers Online. I'll show you that. Go to the mailing solutions. And since I already have the file uploaded, I'll go ahead and just use this one again. Next. And since I'm off, if you just want to do a sample run where you don't have your permits and stuff, and you don't want to enter in all your information, you can just check this box right here and it'll run this through for you and you'll be able to download and take a look at the file. You won't be able to do the mailing because you don't have your permit information, and it does have different information that would be yours. So, but it will allow you to do a sample run. I think that is it for questions. I'll go ahead and turn it over back to Liz.
Thanks, Peter. If you guys think of any questions that you didn't get a chance to ask today, please feel free to email us. We have our email address on the screen, or you can give us a call if you have any questions. As I mentioned before, we are going to send out the recording of today's webinar in case you missed anything, so check that out in your inbox. And if you think of any topics that you guys want to hear about or learn about for Mailing 101 Part 3, please feel free to email us. We want this to be all about you guys and what you're interested in learning about. So let us know. Thanks so much for your guys' time today and for joining us. Happy mailing, everyone. See you soon.